Welcome back, Billiken fans. It's Zach Miller and Peter Hale. This is the Midtown Madness podcast. Pete, we're going to continue our series on, our series Incoming Players. We've got Jake Forrester this week.
Yeah, we're excited to have. We've had a little bit of a gap between, incoming players. We had the three, that we signed in the fall, but these the spring signees have been a little tougher to track down. I know things get a little crazy in the spring, and some of these guys are transferring, so it's tough too. But we're doing the best we can to get them all on here, and really excited to talk to Jake today.
More importantly, though, I know Billiken fans want to know, how is the do-it-yourself pickling coming along?
I guess I'll find out on Tuesday. I don't know yet. I started on Saturday. It's a 3-day process. So far, so good. Got in there, gave the bag a little shake today. It seems like everything is going like it should. So we'll find out when these 2 men in a garden pickling pouches. We'll find out how they work. I started with an onion. I've got a big onion in there. Per their recommendation, he said it would change my burger game. So that's the plan for Tuesday night dinner.
Yeah, so in case you're kind of like lost, because I don't do exposition at all. Peter received his care package from our new sponsor, 2 Men in a Garden, and it included a do-it-yourself at-home pickling kit. And the suggestion from Joel Austin of 2 Men in a Garden has been to pickle onions for burgers. So Pete is going down that journey currently. Set it and forget it in a way. But it's like 3 days. It's like the 3-day new wave oven or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. You do everything right in the little pouch. They say go check on it once a day, give it a little shake. But it's pretty easy. You just add a few ingredients to it and seal it back up, put it in the fridge, and 3 days later, I guess we'll find out, but supposedly you get some pretty tasty stuff.
Well, I'm sure Billiken fans and our listeners have heard enough of us talking about pickling and salsa and whatnot, and we'll get to that eventually. But right now, we're going to kick it over to Jake Forrester and our interview with him right now. This week we have Jake Forrester joining us. He recently announced his commitment to SLU as a grad transfer from Temple University, where he graduated in May. He's a native of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and a graduate of Westtown School in Westchester. He spent his first collegiate season at Indiana University before transferring to Temple, where he became a regular starter and an integral part of the Owls front court. Now he becomes a key player in the Billikens front court rotation, along with Francis Okoro and Momo Sise, heading into a season that has SLU fans feeling very optimistic. Jake, thanks for joining the Midtown Madness podcast.
Yeah, nice to be here, man. Nice to see you guys, and thank you for having me on here.
We got to admit, your commitment threw us off a little bit because you posted the not committed right before, and then a few hours later you committed. Did you make up your mind in that time frame, or were you just messing with fans?
Nah, it wasn't anything to pull any cards or mess around. But I just I like the pictures, honestly, so I just wanted to get them out there. But I really enjoyed my time out there for sure.
So was your plan always to take the bonus year as a grad transfer, or did you consider staying at Temple even though you were going to graduate and everything?
Honestly, midway through my senior season last year, I knew that I probably was not going to return to Temple for my grad year, so I knew I was going to look for other opportunities.
What other schools did you consider as a grad transfer? Or was SLU kind of the one in there from the start?
They were honestly, they hit me up. Oh yeah, SLU hit me up. Honestly, a few weeks after I put my name into the portal, so it wasn't one of the right away schools. I had a lot of schools hit me up, but I wasn't really entertaining a lot of schools, only because I know how the process is. Just from high school, and then after my first transfer that I did out of Indiana. So I kind of understood how the process went. And I really was just knowing exactly what I was looking for. So did you want me to list some of the schools.
Oh no,
Oh.
you're fine.
Did you end up going on any other visits or anything?
I took one visit before Buffalo. I went to Buffalo. That was my first visit. And then I went to St. Louis the week after. Well, honestly, like a few days after.
So I'm curious, being from the Philadelphia area, you got a taste with Temple, playing in front of family and friends, and living near family and friends. With going to SLU, was there a sort of, because they play in the A10, hey, I can get away from hometown for a while, but I'm guaranteed to at least play one or two games in front of family and friends? And was that something the staff kind of played up in their pitch to you?
No, they definitely mentioned it, but I told them, as like when I got there and over the phone conversation and stuff, that distance really never mattered for me. Even since I was young, I lived away from home since I was in 10th grade. I was at prep school, so just being away from home really wasn't an issue for me. But it's definitely nice that we play, in Philly twice, and then we go to DC a few times, I think twice or something like that, and then we play in New York this year like 3 times. So it's just nice that we can play on the East Coast, and my family can come see me as well. But it was never really a issue for me to be away from home. But they definitely mentioned it.
So I'm curious about that because Westtown being a couple hours away from home. What was the decision to go there rather than just stay back in Harrisburg and go to high school at home?
Really just another opportunity for me, just opening, being able to play a national schedule, and just play against top teams in the country and just get myself and, my play out there for people to see. We had I'm not even trying to brag about, but we probably had one of the best teams in the country my junior year. And then my senior year, we were still really good. So, I started my junior year. I was only there for 2 years. So, it was just a great place, great opportunity, got me out there, played a whole bunch of teams from across the country and stuff, played all top level players, ESPN games and stuff like that. So it was just a good, place for me to go for my high school.
Yeah, you mentioned those teams, and one player you played with was Cam Reddish. He was a 5-star recruit and ended up at Duke before being an NBA lottery pick. Now he's with the Knicks. What's it like playing with alongside a player of that kind of stature in high school? Is it a circus everywhere you went, or just a chance to go up against one of the best in the country every day at practice?
Yeah, it was definitely that was really my first time really like seeing people go crazy over a basketball player, like in person. Like you would see it on TV and NBA players and stuff like that. But, he was really good in high school. And I also played with Mo Bamba as well. So with them two, just going to different places and stuff, it was, eye-opening just to see the effect they had on little kids and stuff like that. But, me as well, playing out there with them, just us 5 as a team, we all gelled really well together, just going at it every single day in practice with each other. You just get to see the kind of work ethic that they have, you get to the point they have, and, it motivated me to just go harder as well.
Was Bama the year ahead of you?
So I played with my junior year.
Okay.
He was a year ahead of me.
Yeah.
Are you sick of that song though? Are we sick of that song, or is it still does it still bang?
Nah, that was crazy. I'm trying to tell you, that was really crazy when that song came out. Like I'm like, I live right next door. Like we lived on dorms, so we were all right next to each other, and he's like right next to me. Everyone, everywhere, that song took over the world. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. So it was just really funny seeing that.
You ever talk to him about it?
Oh yeah, we talk here and there, but it was just funny though bringing that up. It was funny. He knows him though, like the rapper. They're close. They're from the same city, so that's how
it's a Nelly Larry Hughes situation.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
So you end up at Indiana your freshman season. What was your experience in your 1 year there, and what ultimately led to you deciding to move on?
So I feel like it was I'll use eye-opening again. It was an eye-opening experience for me up there as well. I talk about another person that had an impact on a whole bunch of people, Romeo Langford. I never see, look, you can talk about Cam in high school, but Romeo in the state of Indiana, it was like, I don't know, seeing the president everywhere you go. Everyone in Indiana loved him. It was crazy. He couldn't go anywhere without getting stopped 50 times. So that was funny. But, you know, just playing in the Big Ten and going against, you know, Juwan Morgan, he's playing right now for the Celtics, Deron Davis, another big that was there with me. It was definitely, you know, battle every single practice. I think my IQ got higher just playing against them guys every single day. I didn't really play much when I was there, but I did play in a few games, and I played in against Michigan State when Juwan went down, so playing against Nick Ward and stuff and things like that. So it was, you know, I think I built my body more. I gained like 20 pounds in my first year when I was there. Over the summer, I was eating like 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day. My strength coach had me on. Yeah, it was wild. You can read about that if you look it up. It was on Twitter. So yeah, I just think I grew way more, you know, mature as a person and as a player when I was there, although I wasn't really playing much, but I did play a little bit. But I think I just grew really just, you know, mentally, physically. I can say I gained that from going there.
So our listeners are vaguely familiar with this, that I do endurance sports, and you know, like I've eaten around like 22 to 2,500 calories a day. Like I can't even fathom the financial toll of 5,000 calories. Like I'm afraid to do like the next level up. Like what are you eating that's 5,000 calories? Because that's, you're closing in on like a dirty bulk, as the, like, you know, like the fit, you know, the weightlifters will tell you.
So I came in at Indiana probably at 200 pounds. At the end of summer session 2, I weighed 218 pounds. It was basically, well, I probably came in weighing 205 pounds. But it was basically a lot of core, those protein shakes. I drank probably 5 of them a day.
That's so much fiber.
Yeah, those Uncrustables. I had box, like not just the ones you buy at the store box. I had like the industrial boxes with like 7 of the store ones inside the box with like 20 in there. So I probably ate like 10 Uncrustables a day. Like, and then the key, what you really have to do if you want to gain weight, is eat at night. Like eat a lot at night, because you don't burn it off throughout the day. You just sleep on it. And then you wake up and you still have it and you work out, and then you turn that into muscle. So that's what I was doing every single day in the summer. It was a lot. It's like you got to force yourself to eat.
Yeah. Do you ever question the process of that? Like you start to, you know, you see the body changing and you're like, or you feel a certain type of way from eating so much, you know? Was there a point where you start to question what you're doing?
I still talk to, you know, we go back and forth, but the strength coach at Indiana, Cliff Marshall, he's really, really good guy. I still talk to him today. So I trusted him a lot with every single thing that he was telling me to do. He worked in the NFL for a long time with the Bengals and stuff like that. So I trusted him with everything that he was telling me to do. And, you know, there were some days where I'm like, no, I'm not eating that. I'm not eating no more. Like I literally can't, or I feel like I'm going to lose my jumping ability and stuff like that. But he just turned all that into just learning how to work that, you know, food and turn into muscle, and, you know, get more explosive and get more quick and have a quicker first step, have a quicker second bounce and stuff like that. But I still feel, you know, the same exact way. If I weighed 180 pounds, I still feel like I can jump the same, jump higher, you know, so I trusted him in the process.
It takes a lot to trust. I mean, that's a big amount of trust you're putting in there.
Yeah.
So you coach.
Can you see me?
Lost you.
Yeah, just lost you.
All right, is it good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, well, it keeps going in and out, but yeah.
There you go. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Your coach at Indiana is Archie Miller, who's now at Rhode Island. So you'll get a chance to go up against him.
Don't worry. We're gonna. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna see him.
All right.
Yeah.
I
We
love
gonna
that.
see.
I love it. I love it. I love the passion in that, man. Like
We gonna see
that's
him. Yep.
that's why college sports I think are so great because of that. Like, it just seems like there's more emotion involved. You watch the NBA, and as much as there's such great skill in the NBA, it doesn't have that sort of meaning to it. It feels like day in and day out at least.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like college sports are way more competitive. I mean, other than games like right now that are on TV.
Right.
Yeah. So speaking of coaches, how much of your decision to go to Temple was based on the fact that you could go play for, a Philly NBA legend like Aaron McKee?
Uh, Let me try to find the words for this. Because I left. It was definitely an impact. It was just nice to have an NBA player coach as one of the coaches, because he has a feel of what it takes to be in the NBA, and he can, guide you to that and use his experience and his connections and stuff like that to, just work. And he knows what it takes to get there as well. So he'll instill that in you. And my father played for Temple back in the day, so that was also another thing as well. But it was nice being near home and being able to do, go back and forth. I would never really went home much, but just being able to go back and forth, and I'll just say, yeah, it was a nice experience to be able to play for a player coach and, play at a school that my dad played at, being an alumni, and graduate from there, and just enjoy my 3 years there.
We talked about Archie going to Rhode Island. You had a little experience with the former athletic director. I think he was an interim director, Fran Dunphy. At Temple is now coaching LaSalle. Who will see? So it seems like everybody's matriculating to the A10. It's gonna be a fun season. Add in that little wrinkle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be nice. Being able to play in Philly a few times. I mean, LaSalle and St. Joe's and stuff. So,
how big was those big five events or like games? How big was that growing up, and was that something you followed?
I didn't really follow it much as a kid, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. But when I got to Philly, that was something that everyone always talked about. Like, although we have a season that we're gonna play, just know the big five games are, very, very important in the city of Philadelphia and the residents and stuff like that follow it. And those games were usually more packed than some of the other ones. Like when we played those at home 2 years ago, that was, one of my top 5 games, I would say, at Temple that I played against St. Joe's. And then when Villanova came to us, that game was packed. So the people and the residents and the fans love the Big Five competition.
So ultimately at Temple, all 3 of your seasons there were impacted one way or another by the COVID-19 pandemic, whether they were cut short or you're playing under, restrictions with fans and travel and all that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering, did you find that to just be a source of like ongoing frustration, or do you kind of look at it and think like maybe you had a chance to kind of learn and grow under really challenging conditions?
Yeah. So COVID happened my first year when I was there. As soon as we got down to the conference tournament, they told us that we had to go COVID, whatever was going on. Rudy Gobert touching the mics and stuff. We were watching it.
That's the second time we've quoted that incident on this podcast. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we were watching that live, literally happening on our phones, and we got our team doctor was like, "Yeah, we got to go back, COVID and stuff." We were all confused, but that one really affected me because I feel like with the team we had going down to the conference tournament my first year, we had a really great opportunity, and then my junior year, COVID was in full effect. We had those no fan games. We played like 13, 14 games that season. And then this year, COVID affected like 4 or 5 of our games. We didn't get to play Villanova. We didn't play Drexel this year. We didn't play a few teams this year because of COVID. So yeah, it's just annoying. But I know this upcoming year, I feel like everything should be back to normal.
Yeah, I think so, and I'm excited.
But to answer your question, yeah, I do think working under those challenging, environment, just knowing how everything can just end in a snap of a finger and stuff like that, it is eye opening. So it just makes you take every single day, go 100% every single day, because you never know when it's gonna end, like your season or whatever.
Yeah.
What kind of player is SLU getting in Jake Forrester? How would you describe your game, and what do you take the most pride in?
I'm gonna take the most. I mean, I know you guys are gonna get a lot of hard work. I'm gonna be running the floor, offense, defensive, rebounding. I'll be high flying. Emphatic finishes and stuff like that. I've been working on shooting the three a lot this summer, so I can come in and fill any role they want me to play. I've been working on I'm not trying to go add a whole bunch of stuff and say a whole bunch of stuff that you're gonna see or do this. Oh, I'm gonna between the leg, flashy, all this. No, that's not me. I come in and I just work hard and motivate my teammates and stuff. I have an older perspective. I have a lot of different motivations that I have to work for. I have my son on the way. So I got a lot of stuff that's gonna make me go really hard. I'm be in the gym twice a day, so that's definitely what's gonna come. You got a hard worker, high energy, high flying player coming your way.
So when is your son due to arrive, and how does becoming a father sort of change your, perspective on not only what you want to accomplish this year, but beyond that?
Yeah, so my son's due July 20th.
I'm a July 17th baby.
You are? Okay,
Yeah.
So my son's due July 20th, and it was a lot for me, because it was unexpected. But it was definitely a lot for me finding out this year. But I know I'm turning it into just motivation now. It's bigger than me. It's more than me. I got to take care of more than myself this year, so I got to go hard for my family, basically, is what it is now. I have a family now. So it's bigger than me. It was always a lot about me, but just having this motivation come in, just know I got to work hard for someone else. I got to give him a better life than I had.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Zach.
No, I was listening. I got lost. I was listening and I didn't even look at the notes. So you're on.
So SLU has they recently announced that they're taking a European trip to Spain and Italy. Were they able to pitch this to you during your recruitment, or was it something that was just kind of a nice surprise after the fact?
Yeah, they mentioned it, but when they mentioned it, they said it was about an 80% that we might go. But they mentioned it. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to. But even if they weren't, it would still be something that I was very interested in the school, even if they weren't.
So it's just a bonus.
Yeah, for sure.
So when do you arrive on campus and start working out with the team?
Next week.
Oh. That's quick. It's coming up fast.
Or 2 weeks or something. I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks. Graduate admissions is a little different for under. So we just got to, figure out that part. But everything has been going smooth.
What will your graduate program look like there in terms of the academics? Like what will you have to do in terms of course load, and what will you be working on?
Yeah. So I picked a certification and emergency management. And that I will be able to be taking online courses and stuff, so I can be around my son, because he's going to be coming down there with me after he's born in like August, September and stuff. So I'll be able to take my classes online, get my certification, and then play basketball as well. So I'll have an even balance of, going to the gym twice a day, coming back, being able to do my classes, take care of my son.
Nice.
Yeah.
When SLU goes to and plays in Philly, they usually do the Philly swing and play 2 games in a week, and it's always a kind of a marquee trip for a lot of Billiken fans. When they do travel to the city of Philadelphia, where are you sending them for the best cheesesteak?
Ishkabib on South Street for sure. Don't go to Gino's. Oh, let me not say that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say don't go on your phone and type in best cheesesteaks in Philly. That's what you can't do, because you're gonna get taken to the mainstream. You gotta go to like corner store or some poppy store and stuff like that. I say Ishkabibbles on South Street. That's the one you gotta go to. They got good cheesesteaks in there.
I think that's I'm
gonna say Ishkabibbles or Max's, them two.
That's the best answer we could have gotten, because that's something from somebody who knows the city, who really knows it.
Yeah,
And you're right, not just what they're going to find on some list on Google.
yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. I'll let you get. We'll let you get back to the NBA finals, and man, we're excited to have you on campus and excited for this season. It's gonna be a hell of a ride, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely gonna be fun. I'm excited to get down there and meet all the, see all the guys and get acclimated and everything. So I'm excited. I'm pumped up and I'm ready. I know y'all got a great fan base, and I'm excited to meet all y'all.
All right, man. Well, you take it easy. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck and thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see y'all.
See ya.
Okay.
Pete, he was super fun to talk to. I enjoyed the heck out of that interview.
We've got so many guys who are coming in this year, so many new players. I'm waiting for one of them who I'm like I don't vibe with, or who like every single one of these guys so far has been great. And so here's another player that I'm really, really rooting for.
Yeah, I really hope people didn't hate the left turn into Dietville. I'm sorry, guys. I find it incredibly interesting, the amount of food one can eat. That's insane. 5,000 calories is nuts. I don't even understand it. But let's continue our talk on men's basketball. We talked with Jake about the European trip a little bit. Pete, this looks like a fun trip, and I mean, it's been forever, and this is the perfect team to do it. Either a super veteran team or a super young team. Those are the two, I feel like.
Yeah, and this one's kind of a unique combination because it's a veteran team with really high expectations, but there are a lot of new players at the same time. So it's going to be a nice way for them to get going early in the summer, do a lot of team building stuff, get to know the new guys and get familiar with playing with each other. But the trip is scheduled for August 12th to 21st. Going to Madrid, Florence, and Rome. Right now, they've got 3 games on the docket, and they may add a 4th. And according to Coach Ford, Perkins is expected to be ready to go. Sounds like they might take a cautious approach with them, though.
They should.
Yeah, you don't want to overextend him or anything like that. But you're right. I mean, when this was announced, I was kind of like, wow, I forgot these things were even a thing. It's been so long, and now I've seen that like dozens of other teams have announced them as well. In the meantime.
Didn't we go to Canada one time? Like that I would be pissed if I was a player and we went to Canada. Like, no offense to Canada and Carter Chapley specifically, but I mean, like, let's do something exotic. Like maple syrup and caribou are only so exotic.
Speak for yourself. I love Canada. You mentioned 4,000 to 5,000 calories a day, and I bet I could get you there in Montreal without much effort at all. Between the poutine and Schwartz's Deli and a couple other places I went to in Montreal.
Is this a challenge? Are we doing? We're gonna go to Montreal for podcast content.
Yeah, I can get you over 4,000 calories by dinner and no effort, no extra meals. But yeah, I think that was back when Majerus was coaching, because I remember Carleton, which is just an outstanding Canadian college program. Majerus was calling them the Duke of Canada and said, don't be upset if we lose to them, which I think we did. So
I think we split with them.
Okay, is that what it was? Yeah. So that was probably a pretty competitive trip, actually. But not as exciting as maybe Italy and Spain, but still pretty cool.
It's a basketballcation. I want to sightsee. But yeah, I'm excited for this, and I think this is the perfect time to do it. And it just happens to obviously come on the heels of a time when we couldn't do it for an extended period.
Yeah, and NCAA rules allow them to do this once every 4 years. So, given the pandemic and that they hadn't done one the season before, they were due. So it works out really well.
Can we bank years? Like, is that like, can we do like 2 and 2 and then do go 6 years off?
Oh yeah. I think you want to spread it out and kind of give recruits at least one crack at it if they stay.
Yes. We got some scheduling updates to go over. There's the return game at Auburn. There's the Mohegan Sun, Iona. Run us down exactly what the specifics are with those.
So Auburn came to SLU last year, and we're going to go there on Sunday, November 27th. So this is the day after the Iron Bowl, which is the Alabama-Auburn game, which is at Alabama this year. So it's not like it's going to be super crowded there if anybody's worried about, getting down there and booking a hotel room. That's also Thanksgiving weekend. So a lot of the students probably won't be there. So it actually should be a pretty good travel weekend if you're just going down for, after your Thanksgiving, whatever you want to do. And then, the MTE at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, we start that on November 19th, which is a Saturday against Maryland. And then we'll play either Miami or Providence the following day. We knew it was going to be Maryland, and then they just finalized the dates and everything on that. Iona is going to be on a Tuesday. That's December 6th. We're playing at their place just a little bit north of New York City. So some pretty good news coming in on the schedule. I know I'm updating my Google Calendar every time one of these things is announced. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I usually wait for the schedule to come out, and then it just does it for me.
Yeah,
So
I can't wait that long. I'm too impatient.
The Iron Bowl will be in Tuscaloosa that day or the day before. So
right,
I thought you were kind of kidding, but no, you're right. That'll be perfect.
Well, yeah, because my first thought was, well, if the Iron Bowl's there, then it's going to be real. You're going to have to get a hotel room and hours away or something like that.
Birmingham,
right?
Which isn't a bad spot. But yeah, and then we're still looking to obviously 18 home games. We talk. Did you talk about Carbondale, Boise, and Memphis?
Not yet, no. So we know we're going to Carbondale on the, that's a road game. We know we're going to have Boise State and Memphis at home. I don't think the dates for any of those are fine. Well, at least they're not public yet on anyone's schedule. And then, like you said, assuming 18 home games for season ticket holders, we're still looking probably to add 5 or 6 regular season games at home and either an exhibition or 2 on top. And, so you could do like kind of 6 regular season games in an exhibition or 5 and 2, depending on, if you're adding another road or neutral game. So I think there's still a little bit to be decided. Coach Ford said he's looking to add both another power conference and a mid-major team to the schedule. I don't know if we would travel for either of those. He did mention Vanderbilt earlier this month at the, or I guess last month now in May, at the golf tournament fundraiser. We don't know if that's what he had in mind for that power conference game, or if it's something altogether different. And then the last little tidbit is people asking about the NC State game that was supposed to have a return. That was one that we played in that crazy COVID scheduling season, the year before this one. We were going to play the return game of that at NC State this year, but it's been pushed back to the 2023-2024 season. So one more year. I don't know if that was at SLU's behest or if NC State decided that, but regardless, it's going to be another year before we head back to Raleigh.
Looking at the roster, transfers and recruiting, we got some news on Mel Crespin. There's, talk, whispers about the last scholarship and what they want to do with it, and then some outgoing player news.
So Crespin was down to Washington State and SLU. He visited both when he came to the States a few weeks ago. And there's always the possibility that he was going to stay in France and try to pursue the pro career some more by getting into the second division there. But I guess that didn't happen because he called it for Washington State the other day. I kind of looked at their roster, and they do seem to have some need for some size on the team. They have a lot of kind of I guess I would call them combo forwards, guys who are like 6'6" to 6'8",
the NBA,
kind of play a
NBA.
wing, kind of play a power forward. Yeah, they've got a few guys who fit that bill. They have a guy, Dennis Rodman Jr. is on their roster, which
Between that fun. And his daughter playing for the, going to be
the national. Oh, she's incredible. Yeah.
I mean, how old? That's.
I mean, do the math. It works out.
Well, if you recall, I think when Space Jam came out,
94.
Michael Jordan was old enough to have kids that were like my age at the time.
Yeah.
So I guess it follows. It's bonkers to think about.
Yeah, but regardless, Crespin's going to Washington State. And so SLU still does have one scholarship to use. Now, Coach Ford told Stu Durando he wasn't sure what they'd do with it or if he'd use it at all. But in his time at SLU, he's never left one open. So we kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, but are you still thinking, backup point guard, or what would you do with this last one?
I would love a guard, maybe a wing that can, Saint Wing University. No, I mean a wing that can, a combo point guard, shooting guard, like anybody who can. We just need somebody to be serviceable, not turn the ball over, defend. That's it.
Yeah.
And I know they think Perkins can get his own shot, but I mean you got to have something in there. It's.
I don't know how they see some of the incoming players in terms of their ball handling abilities, but I don't have a lot of confidence yet, just because I haven't seen it in somebody who can really be that number one ball handler aside from Collins. So if he's out for foul trouble, or if he gets hurt or something like that, I do kind of wonder what that looks like. So I would certainly love somebody who's got that ball handling ability, who could be either work in tandem with him at times, or just straight up back him up and play 10 minutes a game. Kind of like DeAndre Jones did.
Speaking of DeAndre Jones and the like, Andre Lorenzen found himself a home.
Toledo. Yeah, he's going to Toledo.
Gonna be a Rocket, where the reverse Jake Barnett.
That's right. Yeah, good. I had completely forgotten about that. I think I think the Max should be a good fit for him. I was always kind of high on his potential anyway, as kind of a guy who could shoot and had a little bit of size,
a little bit of Ellis to him.
Yeah, he was more of a long-term project though, and the roster just never opened up, and so I totally understand. But with him announcing to Toledo, I think that means we've got everybody who's outgoing in an official landing spot.
Yep. Strickland to Victoria College, Williams to Pine Bluff, Traore to Long Beach State, going to be a dirtbag. Well, that's just their baseball team. Never mind. And then Jordan Nesbitt's heading to Hampton. Women's basketball, man. We released a big time interview with Rebecca Tillett. I got to plug the documentary.
Yeah.
Shamelessly in that one. So she was. I mean, she was game.
I went back and listened to that, and I think it was. I really liked the interview overall. I think we did a good job. I think we were prepared pretty well. Yeah, well done. But you and I have both kind of addressed or expressed a little skepticism. It wasn't a name that was on our radar coming in. She's hired a ton of everybody basically from her old program. And brought over transfers from there. And so on paper, we were kind of like, what's going on here? But after talking to her, and look, like you said before, we're obviously rooting for her and liked what we had seen. But I get it, I get it. She really seems to know how to sell a program. She's got a very distinct vision. She's very clear about what she wants and expects. And she's huge on culture. I could really see this working out. So again, I liked her. I can't speak for both of us, but very much rooting for her.
Yeah, I liked her. I mean, I get, anytime any single kind of point is driven home a lot, like the culture, it's, I don't know, like Team Blue. If I hear that too much, it drives me nuts. Gratitude with the whole athletic department. If I hear it a little too much, it annoys me. So she plugs the same thing over and over again, which it can get to me. And that's part of it. And it has nothing to do with, feminism, whatever. It's just when things are continuously plugged, I check out. I do. But I think she had all the answers, to our concerns. And I thought, she, great personality. And I think she's, again, you said she has a vision. She knows what she wants. She knows she has a plan of how to get there, and she's executing that plan. And You mentioned bringing everybody with her. She continues to do that. Jessica Olmstead joins the staff.
She was on Tillett's staff at Longwood and previously worked as an assistant back when they were coaching high school ball. Now she's the director of scouting and program development for SLU. When I listened to the interview, it was after. So like she teased during the interview, we're about to announce it. They did, and then I listened to it after that, a couple days after we had released it, and she actually mentioned Olmstead in our interview when she was telling a story. Basically, like when they were coaching high school ball, Olmstead told her, "I wish you were one of my college coaches." And then later in the interview, she's like, "Well, we've got a new hire. We're announcing soon." So I don't know in hindsight if she was kind of trying to drop a hint there or not. But regardless, she did talk about her in the interview, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But they are still looking for a video coordinator, and that'll round out the staff unless they add a grad assistant.
Yeah. Nothing new on the commitment side. Coach Tillett did say in our interview with her that SLU still has open spots for the fall, and she thinks she'll announce a couple more commitments in the coming days. So I would stay tuned for that if you're interested in women's basketball. The women's program also announced their summer camp schedule. It's at slugirlsbasketballcamps.com if you know anyone who might be interested, or if you're like a 10-year-old girl listening to our podcast. I don't know why you would be. But things are happening with the women's basketball program, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things go with Tillett and her staff and her team.
Yeah, there's some real momentum. I could see them being competitive in the league in year one. Honestly, kind of looking at the roster, I think they're for sure a top half team in the league already.
I thought her recruiting, the fact that she's had so much recruiting, not adversity but restrictions almost.
Yeah.
We talk about Air Force, or not, was it Air
Navy.
Force? Navy, sorry. And then you talk about, recruiting to Longwood during COVID. And she straight up mentioned the two players she's bringing with her, besides her daughter, she didn't think they would get them there. Like, they were A10 recruits too. So, I mean, that she's got an answer for that. That makes sense. So, I'm looking forward to it. And, of course, we're rooting for her.
Yeah.
Pete, moving over to baseball, the A10 championship was not very kind to Hendo and the Bills.
No, unfortunately, we had Cam Redding on, and he sounded like he was pretty excited for it. And I know everybody was pretty amped up for it. But yeah, unfortunately, it was just kind of it was a tough one, and they were the number 3 seed. So they had a real shot to make some noise in it, but it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah, I think, man, it's really frustrating to see some of these, seasons come to an end when you're a high seed and, you got to travel all the way to Richmond, and just kind of a pain in the ass, I feel like. And but they Tuesday on 5/24, they lost to St. Joe's in a pitcher's duel 2-1. Logan Schmidt got the complete game loss, but he gave up a 2-run homer in the 4th, and that's all St. Joe's needed in that one. Tyler Fogarty got a solo shot in the 3rd, but that was not enough. And it sent the Billikens to the second chance bracket.
Yeah, so they actually wound up with St. Joe's again
and as the announcers pointed out many times, it is a quirk of a 7-team tournament.
That's right.
But I could barely hear them because Davidson wouldn't figure out their broadcast audio.
Yeah, but it is a quirk of that because, if you look at the bottom bracket, the second chance bracket, it has to do with kind of, which seeds lost and who was the highest seed. So SLU got like I guess you would call it the second round of the second chance bracket. And St. Joe's won in the first round of that. So they wound up playing them again. And in the revenge game, SLU won 10-6. It wasn't looking great after St. Joe's got out to a 4-0 lead. And SLU was just, just having trouble getting anything in the air. Just a ton of infield singles, ground outs. They stranded 10 runners before finally Matt Vierling got a run back with a solo shot in the sixth. But it wasn't until the seventh that the bats really came alive. SLU loaded the bases, St. Joe switched pitchers, and then the reliever walked in a run on
And
4
what have we said
pitches.
about going to the bullpen?
I mean, it could not have happened any more quickly and dramatically than it did in this game. I mean, 4 pitches, he walks in a run. And then Cody Jansen, he hits a fly ball, and he's a right-hander too. So he hits it to right. It didn't look that threatening off the bat, but it just kind of carried out, and it was a grand slam. So all of a sudden, this is a game. St. Joe's got one back in the bottom of the inning with a solo shot from Andrew Cassetti, who was excellent in this tournament, by the way.
He dominated us.
Yeah. He drove in runs on his previous 2 at-bats as well. Cam Redding scored on a sac fly in the 8th. And then with 2 men on, Mark Vierling did it again, 3-run homer. And all of a sudden, SLU's up 10-5. St. Joe's got another one back.
They threatened big time, too.
They did. Yeah. Right. In the bottom of the 8th. And it was just a little too late. So 10-6 puts SLU in the what was supposed to be the late afternoon game against the Richmond George Mason winner, which ended up being Richmond, but then the game was moved to Friday due to rain. Yeah,
7-seed Richmond was really the hot team of this tournament, I thought. The surprise hot team, anyway.
Yeah.
This one was tough to watch, Pete. You and I both got that firsthand. Billikens looked good early, got off to a 1-0 lead, appeared to be making good contact, just not getting a lot of production out of it. Richmond got 2 in the 3rd, but broke things open with a 7-run 5th, including a grand slam. Things got infinitely worse from there. Richmond added 7 more runs over the next 2 innings. SLU got 3 back in the 9th, and of course, as we know, you never count out a team once the other team goes to the bullpen, but it was a little too late. 16-4 was the final in this one. Young Brandt took the loss. SLU used 6 pitchers in the first 4. Each gave up 3 runs or more in this one. The Billikens end their season 29-24, 14-9 in conference. I'm sure Hendrickson would say he's not happy with that, but it's been tough the last couple of years, I think, especially.
This, given the context of the last couple of years, this was a solid season. It was a promising season, and we talked about before their balance. It wasn't like we were relying on kind of 1 or 2 star players. This was a really balanced team where everybody was able to kind of produce a little bit. I thought it was a solid season, and I think they can build on this. I kind of like where they are right now. And, VCU went on to win the conference tournament, and they're technically still alive in the Chapel Hill Regional, even though UNC beat them today, June 5th, I guess, yesterday, if you're listening to this. They will play again on Monday the 6th, and that will decide the regional winner. So VCU, strong
Still
team this year.
Doing it.
Yeah. We thought it was going to be Davidson too.
Yeah. Kind of tangentially related, one of our favorite guests, John Bell, is once again doing the Trans-American Bike Race this year. And he just kicked it off on Sunday. This morning,
he did.
I think.
Yeah. This morning, as we record, yesterday, as you listen to this, he starts in Astoria, Oregon, and the race will go almost 4,200 miles through 10 states, and he'll end up at I think it's the Yorkville Monument on the coast in Virginia, and he actually just tweeted not too long ago. So he tweeted this morning from Astoria, and less than an hour ago, he says, currently eating dinner and charging in Corvallis, Oregon, 187 miles in, was in second when I got here, but will slip with this dinner stop. So he's updating as he goes along. It's great to follow. Be sure and follow JBell30 if you're interested about this. He also shared from his Twitter account, there's a Ride Your Bike, Your is YR is the name of the app if you want to track him that way. But Twitter's great too. Really, really interesting. And I think we're definitely going to have him on the show again when he finishes up so we can talk about this.
Absolutely. Just an incredible feat, an incredibly terrifying feat. I mean, we talked a little bit on the show. I mean, this is not an undertaking to be lightly entered into. I mean, this is huge. There are, you have to do this by yourself. This is a battle with yourself. As much as it's a race against others, this is insane. And there are people that have, met their end training for this and doing this. So, nothing but good thoughts to his way. I mean, I like I told you, I think my mom would have to be heavily sedated if I decided to undertake this. She already doesn't like that I ride my bike.
What's the longest you've ridden in one ride?
Oh gosh, 40 miles, maybe 40, just under 50, maybe.
So I before my kids were born, of course, because I don't have the time. I decided one day in like a early November, I want to say it was fall. I decided to ride. There's a trail in Ohio that actually goes all the way up to Cleveland from Cincinnati. And I rode up to Yellow Springs, Ohio, and round trip from where I hit the trailhead at a little outside Cincinnati. It was 135 miles that I did in one day because I went up there and back. And the way I felt when I was done with that and got home, and then the next day, I cannot imagine doing that every day for 4,200 miles. It's just it's an incredible feat. Obviously, I'm not an endurance athlete like John Bell or like you. And so it's a little bit different ball game with me, but I was riding on a flat former, rail line in Ohio. It's not even close to what he's doing. He's about to be hitting some, the Rocky Mountains over the course of weeks. So all power to him, and I'm really excited to follow along with this. I love this.
Yeah, I'll put this in perspective. I got my bike trainer set up. It's a Wahoo Kicker Core. It's direct drive right onto the cassette or the gears, and it connects to a program called Zwift. And looking at my Zwift now, I got this in January, I want to say, or November-ish. I got it, and I've done since November. I've ridden for 4 days and 8 hours and only covered 1,753 miles. John Bell is covering how many miles in this?
4,182 is what he has as the total. So yeah, that's over 2 times what you did there.
And that's spread out over the last 8 to 10 months. So
yeah,
just incredible feat of endurance, mentally and physically.
Yeah, well, he promised he would talk to us again when he gets back, and I can't wait to hear all about this.
Holding them to it.
So be sure and follow again. That's JBell at JBell30 on Twitter. Give him a follow. This is really fascinating stuff.
Yep. That wraps up the week that was in Billiken Athletics. Follow us on Twitter at Midtown Mad Pod, at Peter is a tweeter, at Zach Miller MMP. How many calories do you think he's eating in a day?
That's your department. I wouldn't even know
I'm
what to
kidding.
guess.
No, I'm kidding. I was joking because we had enough calorie talk early on in the show. And then on Instagram at Midtown Mad Pod. Of course, we appreciate any and all suggestions you might have for the show. Please go and subscribe to the show on all platforms. If you haven't left a review, definitely go and drop us 5 stars, as well as a nice little review. As always, go Bills.
Go Bills.